All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the hopeful elect that's pushing out this work in truth and in sincerity. Just going to go to a quick lesson, Lord willing. It's going to be entitled For Envy, Did They Deliver Him? All right, and this just was inspired because me and the brothers, me and the Akim, we had class last night, and after that we went over the scriptures in the John the 11th chapter. We was talking about Caiaphas and the chief priest, so it just got me thinking about the scripture in this lesson I wanted to do. The Passover coming up very soon, so just getting back in the mindset of the trial of Yahweh Shai, man, and how they just delivered him for envy. And, hey, just get in your mind. It's the same thing that's happening now. All right, but I'm going to read this. I'm going to start with this. It says, Mark 12, verse 1. It says, "And he began to speak unto them by parables. A certain man planted a vineyard and set a hedge about it, and digged a place for the wine fat, and built a tower, and let it out to husbandmen, and went into a far country." Right. Now, the vineyard is Israel, as the scriptures say. The vineyard is Israel. That man is the Most High. All right, because the Most High is a spiritual a farmer, if you will. He deals with husbandry, and this is just a parable. And it says, so he digged the hedge. He built up this thing for his people. And he said he let it out to husbandmen. Those husbandmen was what? The priest that he had over Israel. The guy Israel. And he went into a far country. Verse 2, and at the season he went to the husbandman. And at the season he sent to the husbandman a servant, that he might receive from the husbandman of the fruit of the vineyard. Right. Now, what's that servant? The servant is the prophets, man. And they was there to stir the priest right. Because what? The Lord, since it was his vineyard, he deserved the tenths of the fruits. He deserved the fruits of the vineyard. Because it ultimately is his. It doesn't belong unto the husbandman. It doesn't really belong to them. It says, wait a minute. Verse 3. It says, "And they caught him and beat him and sent him away empty." And so what? That's what they do. That's what Israel do. They misuse the prophets. The prophets was there to stir them right when they going off. But they misused the prophets. It says, "And they caught him and beat him and sent him away empty." So he didn't even have he didn't have anything to give back to the Lord. Because his people wasn't following them, because you got these people that was over them that stirred them wrong. They was ruling over them for their own sakes, man, pleasing their own selves. Same thing we see in today. It's verse 4. It says, "And again he sent unto them another servant, and at him they cast stones and wounded him in the head, and sent him away shamefully handled." Right. And that's what they do to the prophets, man. Hey, Stephen. That's what happened to Stephen. And he was just telling them that they was going off. It says, "And again he sent another one, and they killed him, and many others, beating some and killing some." So it's just going through the history how the Israel misused their prophets, man. They destroyed the prophets. So hey, our people gotta pay for that, because they got the blood of the prophets on their hands. All right. Let me keep reading. It says, "Having yet another." Yeah, I'm not even going to that. I'm just stay on the point. It says, "Having yet therefore one son, his well-beloved, he sent him also unto them, saying, they will reverence my son," which that's the Lord, Yahweh Shai. He got that one, his only begotten son, he sent unto them, saying, hey, they should love my son. And the Lord's saying this parable unto them. He says, they will reverence my son. But those husbandmen said among themselves, "This is the heir, come and let us kill him, and the inheritance shall be ours." See, so, hey, they didn't receive the son either, because they knew that he was the heir. If you have a king and then there's a prince, you know, which is another title for the Lord. You got a king and you got a prince, then he's going to be the heir of that. So whatever the vineyard belongs to the prince, you know. But they didn't want that, you know. They said what? Let's read that again. It says, but those husbands said among themselves, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and the inheritance shall be ours. Which they don't understand, man. They think that they're getting rid of the heir is going to make the inheritance theirs, man. Not knowing that this still belongs to the Lord. It says, and they took him and killed him and cast him out of the vineyard. What shall therefore the Lord of the vineyard do? He will come and destroy the husbandman and will give the vineyard unto others. And that's what he's going to do. You know, so I don't know why these men is misusing the Lord's flock, abusing the Lord's flock for their own bellies, man. You know, because he said, what should the Lord do? He going to destroy those husbandmen and get a vineyard into others. So now it's not about you just the priest was Levi. Now the priest is going to be the nation of priests and kings and priests, man. You know. But going back to the point, that's why they envy Yahushua, you know, and this is all prophecy, man. And we're gonna go into that in John 11 chapter. But I'm gonna keep reading real quick. It says, verse 10, it says, and have ye not read this scripture? The stone which the builders rejected is become the head of the corner. This was the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. And they sought to lay hold on him, but feared the people, for they knew that he had spoken the parable against them. And they left him and went their way. Right. So that time it wasn't his time. It wasn't his time to go. But they wanted to kill him from there because they knew he was speaking about them. All right. The parable was against them because they knew the scriptures. They supposed to be the leaders of the people. So they supposed to have known the scriptures. Let me get this real quick. Ezekiel. Yeah, it's Ezekiel 33 verse 30. It says, also, thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, everyone his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from Yahweh. And they came unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but with their heart goeth after covetousness. Right. See? So with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after covetousness. They come to them as if they're people, you know, as they Israelites, man. You know, as that they believe him. But they profess with their mouth that they believe, but their hearts is far from them. We're gonna continue in that chapter and get that, but I wanted to get the word covetousness. We'll say. Batazai, and it says profit, unjust gain, unjust gain or profit acquired by violence. All right, and that's the men that's doing this for filthy lucre, covetousness, dishonest gain. You know, because what? Hey, the people don't belong to them. You know, you're supposed to stir them in the purposes for the Lord and not your own purposes. All right. So, yep. I'm going to just keep going. Verse 13, Mark 12 and 13, it says, and they sinned unto him certain of the Pharisees and of the Herodians to catch him in his words. You know, so certain of them, the Pharisees and the Herodians, these the wicked ones, you know, which the Herodians, Edomites, but the scribes and the Pharisees, the wicked scribes and the Pharisees, they tried to catch him in his words. He said, and when they were come, they say unto him, Master, we know that thou art true, and carest for no man, for thou regardest not the persons of men, but teachest the way of the Most High in truth. Is it lawful to give tribute to Caesar or not? See, they tried to come to him as if they was as if they believed in him. They called him master. The scriptures say, why callest me master, master, but do not the things that I say. All right. So they try to trick him in his words. You know, is it lawful to give tribute to Caesar or not? And it says, shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, said unto them, why tempt ye me? Bring me a penny that I may see it. Now, the Lord, he can read their thoughts. So he knew they wasn't sincere. He said, knowing their hypocrisies. So he about to catch them, you know. It says, and they brought it, and he saith unto them, whose is this image and superscription? And they said unto him, Caesar's. And Yahushua answering them, and Yahushua answering said unto them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to the Most High the things that are the Most High's. And they marveled at him. And then it keeps going, you know, and this is when, hey, this is the beginning when the Lord, this is how they start to build up that envy towards the Lord, because by his miracle, by the things that he did, they began to know that he was the chosen one. You know, they knew that he was the Messiah. Even when he was young, he fulfilled prophecy. He became quick of quick understanding. You know, when he was 12 and he was teaching, and they said, how do he know these things? Well, having not been learned, man, having not been taught up. You know, because he wasn't in the priest. You know, he wasn't in that priest line that they was in, so to speak. You know. Yep. So let me get to go to John. And this is after the miracles that the Lord was. So the Lord was doing many miracles, man. You know, actually, and there was another one, and you can see it was a build up. Let me get this first before I go to that one. All right. And this one, the Lord. Hey, this one the Lord pretty much, he opened the eyes of the blind, man. Yeah, I'm gonna just read it. This is John. Man. I'm gonna just read it from the top, man. You know, this is John 9 verse 1. It says, and as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth, and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Which, that's another one that shows about reincarnation, because he said, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Which shows you that, you know, reincarnation, which our foreparents knew about reincarnation, you know, prior to the biblical destruction group. But that's another topic. It says, Yahushua answered, neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of the Most High should be made manifest. So the miracles that the Lord did, it was all calculated, man. You know, it says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. And that's when the Lord is not going to be there. It says, as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had thus spoken, he sat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way therefore and washed and came seeing. The neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, this is he. Others said, he is like him. But he said, I am he. So the dude told him that, no, I am him. I was blind. You know, and they was looking like, what? You know, it says, therefore said they unto him, how were thine eyes open? He answered and said, a man that is called Yahushua made clay and anointed my eyes, and said unto me, go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. Right? Because the Lord, he came to open the eyes of the blind, man. And that's what we here doing today spiritually. You know, so you starting to see these same things happen. It says, then said they unto him, where is he? He said, I know not. They brought to the Pharisees him that for a time was blind, and it was the Sabbath day when Yahushua made the clay and opened his eyes. See, and it was the Sabbath day. Then again, the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He said unto them, he put clay upon my eyes, and I washed and do see. Right, so it made a big stir when he did that miracle. That's why some of the miracles Yahushua did, he told them not to say who he was, you know. So now the Pharisees is inquiring, how did he regain that sight? It says, oh, not regain, but how did he gain sight? It says, therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of the Most High, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. See, in that division, the Pharisees didn't like, because they were set up to rule over them. They was the heads. You know, but now you got this new guy coming along doing miracles, and now it's creating a division. Like now the followers is going somewhere else. You know, it said, but they immediately try to say, well, he can't be a man of God. He working on the Sabbath, which the Lord is the king of the Sabbath. All right, you know, and that's another scripture as well. But I want to stay on the topic. You know, verse 17. They said unto the blind man again, what sayest thou of him that he have opened thine eyes? He said, he is a prophet. So the blind man said he's a prophet, man, you know. But the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind and received his sight, until they called the parents of him that had received his sight. Yeah, because they was unbelieving. And they asked them, saying, is this your son, whom ye say was born blind? How then doth he now see? His parents answered them and said, we know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. But by what means he now seeth, we know not. Or who hath opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age, ask him, he shall speak for himself. So his parents said, yeah, that is my son. And he was born blind. We don't know how he's seen it, but they got a reason for why they said they don't know why he's seen it. And this is the point. It says, these words spake his parents because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was Hamashiach, he should be put out of the synagogue. See? So they already agreed and said, man, if anybody say that he's the Messiah, you're going to be put out the synagogue, you know? They already had that in their minds, you know, because hey, to them, he was going against their setup. All right. Let's see how far down I want to go. I don't want to read this whole thing; it's pretty long, so I'm gonna just go to the point. All right, I'll just start from John 11, verse 32. All right, and this is the story of Lazarus, the actual Lazarus, who, you know, he was sick, you know, and the Lord had to wait until he had died, you know. So the works of the Lord can be made, the Most High can be made manifest. This is John 11, verse 32. Then when Mary was come where Yahushua was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. When Yahushua therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping with her, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled, and said, where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. Yahushua wept. Then said the Jews, behold, how he loved him. And some of them said, could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? Right, because to make it more of a bigger miracle, so to speak, you know, he had to actually die, because the Lord healed the sick as well. And when he was sick, the Lord had to wait until he actually had died, so that once he raised him from the grave, that they would surely know that he was the Messiah. Yahushua therefore again groaning in himself cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Yahushua said, take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. So he already been dead 4 days. Yahushua saith unto her, said I not unto thee, that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of the Most High? See? So if they really believe, they should already know. Then they took away the stone from the, well, you got to read the whole chapter because it's deep. It says, then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Yahushua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hearest me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. Exactly the point. You know, he said is that they may believe that, that they have sent them, because what? They had to believe that. And that's how they're going to be saved, because the Lord was the way. The Lord is the way in the life. That's the only way you're going to be saved. It says, and he that was dead, verse 43. And when he thus has spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Yahushua said unto them, loose him and let him go. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him. See, so some of them who was there, they had believed, man, and they was appointed to believe. And it says, let me see. All right. But did believe on him. It says, but some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done. See, they wasn't over the old ways, man. You know, they had to go back into the Pharisees and say, man, look, because the Pharisees, what was their authority at the time? They had to say, man, hey, he just raised the dead, you know. Well, that's just angers the Pharisees, because, hey, they didn't want people to believe that he was the anointed, you know. It says, then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. Right, see? So that shows you that it was just for envy, you know? Because what? They said if we let him alone and he keep doing all these miracles, the Romans are going to take away our what? It says they're going to take away both our place and nation. What's their place? They was at the top. They was put in, like you got these so-called black leaders, man. They've been put in as figureheads, you know what, to quell the rebellions of Jakes, you know, to keep them from rebelling, you know. They've been put in these positions as leaders. But if they're not doing their job, then what? The enemy, Esau, he going to just do away with them because they're not doing their job. You know, he going to rid them. They have no use. So he said, then they're going to come take away both our place and nation. And then it says, verse 49, and one of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest, the same year said unto them, ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. See, so he's just thinking about that moment, you know, which what he said is true according to the scriptures, but he knew that he was the Messiah, but he was being wicked because he didn't want his place to be taken away, as they said in verse 48, that he gonna take away both our place and nation. So they just saying if we can't, you know, if we can't keep them under control, they're gonna take away our authority, and they're gonna do away with our nation, man. Because at that time they was letting Israelites in that area keep their customs, you know. But if they was, hey, they could have been totally overran. So he's Caiaphas saying, nah, he's saying that one man supposed to die, you know, that our nation will be preserved. But he thinking of it and as in how they was now, because at that point he was the high priest. He was in authority. Yeah, I'm gonna read it again. It says, and one of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of the Most High that were scattered abroad. Then from that day forth they took counsel together for to put him to death. See? So from that day forth they took counsel together to put Yahushua to death, man. You know? And then I'm going to get this last scripture and I'm going to close. All right? And this is the actual trial of Yahushua. You know? After Judas betrayed him, man. Because they even had a bounty on the Lord's head, man. See? Watch. Verse Matthew 27:6. And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, it is not lawful for them to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. Right. Hey, so they put the bounty out on the Lord's head, man. It was the chief priest. And then that was Judas trying to get the money back because he felt bad, because he betrayed the Lord. Now, I just wanted to get that quick point. Yeah, and I'm going to start from verse 11. It says, and Yahushua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, art thou the king of the Jews? And Yahushua said unto him, thou sayest. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? And he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast, because he marveled because the Lord didn't even defend himself, man. He said, you supposed to be the king of the Jews. He ain't even saying nothing. He says, now at the feast, the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would, because it was according to the custom that one of the prisoners would get released, whoever they would like to get released. It says, and they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. And he was notable because he was a murderer. All right. He was a murderer. It says, and 17, therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, whom will ye that I release unto you, Barabbas or Yahushua, which is called Hamashiach? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. And that's the point. That was not the point, but that was the topic. That's the name of the show, this lesson. For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. I was before I continue, I wanted to get that word. Etymology online. The word envy, it says from late old Frenchy envy, jealousy, rivalry, jealousy. Envy is having hatred or ill will. To envy, hate, look at with malice, cast an evil eye upon. All right. You go down. It says jealousy is the malign feeling which is often had toward a rival or a possible rival for the possession of that which we greatly desire, as in love or ambition. Envy is a similar feeling toward one, whether rival or not, who already possesses that which we greatly desire. Jealousy is enmity prompted by fear. Envy is enmity prompted by covetousness. See, so envy is enmity prompted by covetousness, and what? Back to the parable of the vineyard, that they wanted that possession. They wanted Israel. They didn't want Israel to follow Yahushua. They wanted Israel to follow them, man. That's why, when he said, for he knew they delivered him for envy, and they feared the loss of that influence and power, man, to the new teacher that came on the scene. They thought that I've been established. Who is he to come out of nowhere? Let me get the definition, so if it's more clearer. In dictionary.com, it says a feeling of discontent and resentment aroused by and in conjunction with the desire for the possessions or qualities of another. See? So they wanted what he possessed in them qualities that he had, man. How he was super deep with the scriptures, man. How he was the heir. He was the anointed. They didn't want him to be the anointed. So they envied him. They was covetous over his position. And for that they killed him, man. I'm gonna keep reading. Matthew 27:19. It says, when he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. So even the enemies of us knew that he was innocent, man. But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Yahushua, man. So here it is, the chief priest, man, just because they wanted his spot that bad, they wanted to take a murderer and they wanted to destroy Yahushua, man. That's deep, because they asking for a murderer and they killing their savior, man. Which is why we're in this position today, man. We got a murderer over us and they denying their savior, their Lord and Savior, man. The governor answered and said unto them, whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you? They said Barabbas. Pilate, and that just show you how much influence that these chief priests have on our people, man. Pilate said unto them, what shall I do then with Yahushua, which is called Hamashiach? They say unto him, let him be crucified. And the governor said, why? What evil have he done? But they cried out the more, let him be crucified. And man, hey, that's pretty much the point, man. It just shows you how much hatred they had for the Lord. They tried to, they said let him be crucified. He didn't kill anybody, man. They wanted to